80% of the Bible took place in what's called Judea and Samaria. And most people don't know that. Most people call it the West Bank. Why do they call it the West Bank? Because you totally remove the context of what this place was.
In a very sort of practical way, this spiritual battle gets worked out in our world. We see it politically. We see it, in the media. We see all kinds of sort of slanted reporting about Israel, about the nation of Israel, about settlers. That word is a kind of a bit of an alarm bell for a lot of people if you talk about the settlers in Israel. And sure. Judea and Samaria is where so many of those folks are living. Talk to us a little bit about the BDS movement. What is it? Do you feel that this is anti-Semitic? What's really happening there with all of that?
Right. Yeah. The BDS movement stands for Boycott, Divest, and Sanction. It's a movement that's trying to basically delegitimize Israel, destroy her and cripple her economically, politically, trying to destroy the name and character of the nation of Israel in world politics. And yeah, for us, it was something that we recognized that, there's an issue here. Especially with a lot of the misinformation that's happening in the world today. My mother's from Austria, from Europe. It was big in Europe, a big push to boycott Israel. Even here in the U.S. on campuses across the nation, a big push for the BDS movement, boycott, divest, sanction Israel. And the reality is that the only thing wrong that Israel has done is taking back the land that is rightfully theirs, right? And not only taking it back, but taking it back when the surrounding nations came to basically destroy her. It was the push, their call to action was drive the Jews into the sea, and so not only was it land that was rightfully theirs in the first place, but it was land that they took. Rightfully in war. And so, but yeah, throughout history, since the birth of Israel, there's always been, a hatred of Israel, I think partially because there's a recognition that they are the chosen people of God, whether you know it in your head or you don't, whether it's just in the back, I think there is a hatred of the Jewish people because they stand for truth. They stand for a God who calls for morality and for morals and a lifestyle that's devoted to Him. And people don't like that. But yeah, if you look at history, it seems like starting 1948, we had that starting war, basically the ground war for the nation of Israel. But over time, it's as if the nations have recognized, hey, obviously, we don't know who's on their side, but somebody's on their side that's not letting us destroy them, through the method of warfare. So we are going to delegitimize them. We are going to cripple them economically. We are going to defame them and basically do everything that we can to destroy their name and their face in the world. And with that, it was our family was recognizing, unfortunately, Israel is losing the war of information in this age of information, and we need to do something about it because so many people are uneducated. So many people don't know or understand what's happening in Israel, and most people don't know. It's interesting, actually. I heard a survey once that said that this was a Christian survey. They were asking Christians, how many of you believe that the land that was promised to Abraham should go to the Jewish people? And I think it was in the 90% that said, well, yeah, the land that's promised to Abraham should be given to the Jewish people. But then they turned around and said, how many of you think that the land that is currently called Palestine should be given over to the Palestinians? And I think it was, again, about 90% said, well, yeah, the land that's called Palestine should be given to the Palestinians. So we have this misinformation going on here that most people don't understand, that the land that was promised to Abraham is the very land that they now call Palestine, that they want to give to the Palestinians, right? So it's a total disconnect from the land of Israel. 80% of the Bible took place in what's called Judea and Samaria. And most people don't know that. Most people call it the West Bank. Why do they call it the West Bank? Because you totally remove the context of what this place was. You know, Judea comes from the word Jew, right? So
That's right.
Yehuda, like in Hebrew, Yehuda, the land of Yehuda is for the Yehudim. And so like it sounds even better in Hebrew because you understand, wow, this is the land of the Jews, right? This is the land of Judea. And in Samaria, just you read the places throughout the Bible of the history that happened there. This is the land of the Jewish people. And so, yeah, it's an information war. It's a war that we need to get on the front lines of. And that was for our family. It was recognizing that, like you said at the intro, our family's done a lot of Holocaust education. You know, how could something like this happen? And a lot of it happens when you take a person and you remove their face, you remove their humanity, you remove who they are, you turn them into a caricature, a stick figure, and call them the evil settlers. And but these are not just a headline on a newspaper. These are actual real people. And why are they there? That story is not getting out. What are their life dreams and visions, and why do they make the journey from California and Colorado and New York and Florida? Why do they make this journey all the way over to the land of Israel, and put their families at risk? And that was the story that wasn't being told. And so our family, we said we need to make a difference. We recognize that in the past, things are allowed to happen because people are silent. People are not willing to stand up and speak about what's happening in the world. And also, there's like a veil of silence and apathy that covers a lot of America. And so we said now is the time to wake up. We've been talking about it for a long time. We've said never again. We would always be with the Jewish people. We would stand with them no matter the cost. And now is the time for us to wake up to the reality of what's happening in the world and do something about it. And so from that, Blessed by Israel was born. To bless, defend, and serve. That BDS, bless, defend, and serve the Jewish people and the land of Israel.
Thanks for watching. You can listen to this entire podcast on your favorite audio podcast platform. Find the link below. And while you're at it, don't forget to click subscribe and follow us on Facebook so you can stay connected to First Century Foundations.